What is going on, college sports fans? Welcome back to another video. It is Friday, which means we have another bracket predictions video out for you guys. This time we're doing Joe Lunardi's again. It is updated on Friday, March 4th, 2022, which is the same day I will be uploading this video, so it is up to date. Here are his bubble teams if you guys want to take a look at them, and this is his bracket, which we have put into a PDF, and we are going to fill it out all the way until the championship game. Real quick, I just want to say subscribe if you guys are new. We're getting super close to 1,000, so help your boy out. You guys have been killing it on these bracket predictions videos, so we're going to have more coming out for you guys. Keep killing it. Drop a like if you guys want to see more of them, and comment down below your thoughts on my picks. We're building a really nice, good community around college basketball and college sports in general. And yeah, comment down below. I love responding to you guys and reading the comments, so definitely do that. And let's get it started, man. Let's get it started. We got Gonzaga versus either New Orleans or Alcorn State. I'm going to go ahead and rock with the Zags in that one. Easy pick. Iowa State versus Creighton. Now, this one could be interesting. This is a really fun 8-9 matchup that I have not seen yet. Usually, the past few brackets, I've been seeing the same 8-9 matchups, but this one's different, and I like it. These two teams are kind of close, but I'm going to go with Iowa State and Isaiah Brockington to have a big game in round one. It would be hard to pick against him in round one in an 8-9. He is a beast, man. He could take over that game. Alabama versus South Dakota State, and I like South Dakota State as a 12. I've been seeing them as a 13. I haven't found a spot for them to get an upset. This is a spot for them to get an upset right here. I'm going to go with South Dakota State for the 12 over the 5 upset. Give me the Jackrabbits to go dancing a little bit here in March. UCLA versus Towson. And Towson's kind of jumped up here all the way to a 13 seed. I mean, I think in my first bracket they were a 15 seed. So they jumped up here a couple seeds. Maybe they've been hot because I haven't been watching too much Towson, but I got to go with UCLA here in round one. I don't know too much about Towson to pick them in that upset, but I will definitely have to take a look at them maybe in their conference tournament to see how they're doing. St. Mary's versus Michigan. Michigan's been, playing good. Juwan Howard got suspended for the rest of the regular season, but Michigan's been playing pretty well. St. Mary's got that big win over Gonzaga, and I think the way that they play basketball, they slow down the pace. It's going to be hard for Michigan or really anyone to beat them in round one. I think St. Mary's is going to get a win, at least one win in the tournament this year. So give me the Gales to move on. Texas Tech versus Seattle. I can't go against Texas Tech here. I can't. There's no way I am picking against Texas Tech. In my opinion, maybe one of the best teams in all of college basketball. Texas Tech is a really good defensive team, and they spread the ball around on offense. So, yeah, give me the Red Raiders. Colorado State versus North Carolina. I think North Carolina has a 10 or an 11 seed is going to be, I think, America's pick to make a deep run just because, they have the brand, they have the name. But I'm actually going to go with Colorado State here. I think that they have been the more consistent team this year over North Carolina. And give me the Rams, man. I like that pick. Wisconsin versus Montana State. I'm going with the Badgers, man. I'd love to see Montana State get a win in March Madness, but I think as a 15, it might be too hard for them. I've said this multiple times this year. I don't think we'll see a 15 over 2 this year, but, we didn't think that we were going to see one last year, and we never really expect it, which is why it's so awesome when it happens, so it could very well, but I'm going to take Wisconsin here in this one. Gonzaga versus Iowa State. Now, Isaiah Brockington, he could make some noise, and I would love to see them upset Gonzaga, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Gonzaga, too much size, too much strength down low, and their guards have been playing a little bit better recently as well, so give me the Zags to move on. South Dakota State versus UCLA. I don't know, man. This one smells like a Cinderella to the Sweet 16 for the Jackrabbits. I like the matchups that they get. They get Alabama and then UCLA. That is a good draw for the Jackrabbits, in my opinion. Two teams that are not hot right now. at the time I'm recording this video, so I think that the Jackrabbits could really sneak right in there to the Sweet 16 as a 12 seed, so give me them to go dancing. St. Mary's versus Texas Tech. Now, this would be a grinded out game. I think it's a really tough draw for St. Mary's. Like I said, they like to slow the pace down. They like to control the game. And I think they will get a win over Michigan in the tournament. But to go up against Texas Tech there in the second round, that is a tough draw because Texas Tech, they can play that style of basketball and they can beat you with that style of basketball. So I think I'm going to go with Texas Tech here to move on to the Sweet 16. Colorado State versus Wisconsin. I do like Colorado State. I have a tough time believing that they're going to defeat the Badgers, though. With Johnny Davis, man, he has that type of feeling, that Kemba Walker-esque run in him. If anyone has that feeling this year, it's Johnny Davis, in my opinion, and I can't see them losing Colorado State in the second round. I think Johnny Davis is going to have some big games, especially in those first 2 rounds of March. And yeah, man, give me the Badgers to move on. Gonzaga versus South Dakota State. As much as I would love to see the Jackrabbits move on more and even win the championship, it's just not going to happen, man. Give me Gonzaga here to move on. Easier path there for Gonzaga. They kind of have an easy path. I mean, Iowa State is no slouch, but they kind of have an easy path to the Elite Eight right here. Texas Tech versus Wisconsin. That would be so much fun to watch. Highly defensive team, but Wisconsin has been playing amazing recently. They've been playing amazing basketball, and I kind of want to pick Wisconsin to move on here, but I just don't think I can do it, man. I don't think I can do it. I got to pick Texas Tech. They're really good on both sides of the ball, so give me the Raiders, the Red Raiders, to move on to the Elite Eight this time. So we got a 1 versus 3 matchup here in the Elite Eight. Who do I want to pick? I think I got to go with the Zags, man. They are too big, too strong, and that would be the ultimate matchup. I mean, Texas Tech, a great defensive team. Gonzaga, the highest scoring team in the whole country. When they get running, they can run. So give me the Zags, man. I think they're going to have a little bit too much offense for Texas Tech here. It would be a fun one, but give me the Zags, man. Final 4 out of the first region. Let's go over here to the top right now. Arizona versus Long Beach State. I'm going to go with Arizona for sure. Easy pick. TCU versus Murray State. Now, this is a really good matchup. I really like TCU. They just got to win over Kansas at home. I know they just lost to Kansas as well on the road. They split with them, though, and they were in a close game with them in Allen Fieldhouse. So I like TCU a lot come March, but I also like Murray State, man. I'm pretty sure they're still undefeated in their conference, and they've just been playing amazing basketball, man. It is a tough pick for me, but I got to go with Murray State. I can't pick against them right here. I really like this team, and I think they're going to get a win come March. And it sucks because I think TCU is getting hot right now, and my opinions could change. Like, if this matchup comes around March and TCU has a good showing in the Big 12 tournament, then it's going to be hard to pick against them. I'd probably pick TCU, but right now, give me Murray State. Texas versus Chattanooga. I think this is a good matchup for Chattanooga, man, but I'm going to go with Texas this time. I think last bracket I picked Texas to get upset in the first round. Give me the Longhorns to move on because they have a lot of depth on that team. I think if they can get out of the first round, then they could make a little bit of a run in the tournament because they have so much depth. And I'm not sure how many other teams have that type of depth that they do. But if they can escape that first round, I think it'll be a close game. Give me Longhorns to move on there to the second round. Providence versus Iona. And, if you've been watching my channel, I think you know exactly where I'm going with this one, man. You know what, though? Maybe I'm not, because I think this is probably going to be a very close game. Like, I could see Iona winning on a buzzer beater, But I could also see Providence pulling it out because they're so good in those close games. They are so good in those close games, man. This is going to be a tough one to pick. I like Iona. I picked them a lot to win first round. But I'm going to go with Providence to win by 1 or 2 points in a very close game. That's what they're good at. They like keeping it close. Give me the Friars to actually move on in this one. LSU versus Wyoming. I'm going to go with LSU. LSU, out of the Mountain West teams that are going to be in the tournament, I think Wyoming is the one that I'm not the highest on. I do think they are a good team. I think they could get this win. It will be a close game. Those 6-11 matchups are always fun, but give me LSU to move on in that one. Purdue versus Northern Iowa. This is the first time I'm seeing Northern Iowa in the bracket, so give me Purdue. I'm going to move them on here. I think Purdue has championship potential this year, even as a 3 seed. I like the Boilermakers. They're going to have to play a little bit more defense, though, because they have a lot of offense. They need to play harder defense, and their showing in the Big Ten tournament is going to determine how far I bring them in my final bracket after Selection Sunday. So I'll pick Purdue against Northern Iowa. They got to play some defense, though. USC versus San Diego State. Man, I'm picking San Diego State. You guys know I'm high on the Aztecs. Last time I think I had them in the Elite 8. I like the Aztecs as a team this year, man. They are actually maybe my favorite team out of the Mountain West. I like them more than Boise. I like them more than Colorado State. And I definitely like them more than Wyoming this year. San Diego State is moving on. Kansas versus Jacksonville State. I'll go with Kansas here, and this one against Jacksonville State. That's an easy pick. Go back up here to Arizona versus Murray State. Let's see. Murray State's going to be a tough out, man. But I think they've played in a couple close games recently, but everybody's going to do that. We'll see how they finish out their season, but right now I'm going to go with Arizona. I've been kind of disrespecting Arizona a little bit in my brackets, and there's really no reason to that. Like, I think Arizona has championship potential. They're one of the best teams in the country, but they've been getting in these matchups where I'm like, okay, I think Arizona's going to lose that. And I just went with my gut, man. But right now, I think Arizona beats Murray State at this point in time. I think a couple brackets ago, I had Murray State winning this exact game. And I had Murray State going all the way to the Final Four. But opinions change. I think Arizona at this point in time, I got to pick them. Texas versus Providence. And, I could very well see Providence win in another close game right here, man. Texas has the depth, though, so this would be an interesting matchup. Can Texas survive these first 2 rounds? Because if they do, I could see Chris Beard leading this deep, deep team to a deep, deep run. But I'm going to say that they're not going to survive these first 2 rounds, and Providence is going to narrowly get by Iona, and they're going to narrowly get by Texas. And Providence is going to go to the Sweet 16 in this bracket, which is unheard of in my brackets. Usually I have them lose in the first round, but, they play in those close games, and they win those close games. So give me Providence to move on. LSU versus Purdue. Now, this could be an interesting matchup. I mean, I like Purdue a lot, and if they start playing some defense, in the Big Ten tournament, and they can get better at defense, then I will pick them to go very far, probably Final Four, probably a Final Four team. But as of right now, I don't like the defense they're playing. I think they need to play a little bit harder. Give me LSU to move on to the Sweet 16, man. I like that upset. It's only a 6-3, but that is a big upset in my eyes. And I like LSU in that matchup, man. I just like them. San Diego State versus Kansas. Now, Kansas, another team that I don't really like what I'm seeing from Kansas recently. This could be a bold prediction, but I'm going with San Diego State to move on. I like their defense. I like San Diego State. They play hard, man. And Kansas losing a couple games recently and won to TCU, and they only narrowly beat TCU again in Allen Fieldhouse. Neutral site games. Give me the Aztecs to upset the Jayhawks in a 10-2 in the second round. So up top we got Arizona versus Providence. This is where Providence's run ends. I can't pick them to go further than the Sweet 16 in my opinion. I mean, if they do make it this far, I could see them winning one more game maybe. It's going to be close games with them every time, but I think Arizona, they have the offensive firepower. They get out and run in the fast breaks. I think that they can keep this game far, like, away from a close game to where Providence doesn't like it, and they can beat Providence by 10 or 12 points. So give me the Arizona Wildcats to move on, man, to the Elite Eight. I think this is actually my fourth bracket, and this is the first time I'm having Arizona out of the Sweet 16, which is why I've been saying I've been disrespecting them, because they can actually go very far in this tournament. LSU versus San Diego State. Yeah, man, I'm going with San Diego State. I'm rocking with the boys. LSU had a good run, but San Diego State, like I said, I like their defense. They get like a lot of deflections, a lot of steals. They have a shot blocker. Like they press sometimes too. Like I've been watching some San Diego State games lately. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a team. This is a sleeper team that could go deep if they get given the right matchups. And I think that they get the right matchups here. I think that they get Kansas, which has looked a little bit cold recently, as a 2 seed to go against. So yeah, man, give me the Aztecs to go to the Elite Eight over LSU. Next up, Arizona versus San Diego State. This is where the Aztecs run ends. Give me Arizona to go to the Final Four. 2 1 seeds in the Final Four. That will change here soon. Trust me. Auburn versus Cleveland State or Bryant University. Not sure who's going to win that 16 versus 16 there to get in, but either way, give me Auburn to move on. Seton Hall versus Wake Forest. Give me Wake Forest, man. I think Wake Forest is kind of one of the more underrated teams. In my opinion, they might be the second best team in the ACC just behind Duke. So, yeah, give me Wake Forest there. Arkansas versus North Texas. And I really love the Mean Green, man. I really love the Mean Green. But Arkansas is like one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. I just watched the other day Arkansas versus LSU. The crowd was electric. They had a good comeback there in the end and pulled off the win. Again, that environment is a very tough place to play there in Fayetteville, but this is going to be neutral site, so we'll see. If they stay hot through the SEC tournament, though, definitely those are going to be neutral site games. We'll see how they play in those neutral site games against the top of the SEC, and that will determine how far I bring them in this tournament. But right now, hottest team in the nation. Give me the Razorbacks to move on, even though I love the Mean Green. Just a bad matchup for North Texas, man. Illinois versus Vermont. And I like Illinois a lot. And I think that they have potential to go on a deep run. I think that Illinois, they either go on a deep run or they can lose early. And I'm actually going to pick Vermont to get this upset, man. Vermont is a solid team. And I like this Illinois team a lot, but recently they have shown me they are capable of losing games. They lost to Ohio State at home. Recently I watched that game. They almost came back and won that game. It was a good comeback that they almost got there. But still, I'm not too high on Ohio State either. I think Illinois could be a potential team that could get upset in the first round. So give me Vermont to win that one. Iowa versus either Xavier or Memphis. Xavier, man, they have a lot of talent on that team, but they have just not been performing recently. I think they just lost to St. John's, and I know St. John's is a decent team. They're not a tournament team, but they're a decent team. But they lost to them by like 10 or 15 points. Like, it was not pretty. So I think Memphis is going to win that one to get the 11th seed and face Iowa. And I'm picking Iowa to beat Memphis there in the first round. Iowa has a star player, man, Keegan Murray, and he has been cooking recently. Like, he has been cooking. And I think that Iowa has a potential to even climb up a couple more seeds. I mean, they're a 6 seed right now. They've been climbing. But Keegan Murray's been popping off. They like to get out and run. And I like the Hawkeyes, man. I haven't been picking them recently, but I've been watching a few of their games. And, man, Keegan Murray is the real deal. Like, I think that Iowa has potential. They could go on a run. They could definitely go on a run here in this tournament. So give me the Hawkeyes to move on. Villanova versus Princeton. I'm not too high on Princeton, man. I know some of these Ivy League teams, they do get upset sometimes. I mean, Yale, I think, had one recently, but not this year. Not this year. Not against Villanova. Villanova is too good. Michigan State versus Notre Dame. Old Sparty versus Notre Dame. You know, I'm not too high on the Sparty. Not too high on the Sparty. I know that they just beat Purdue at home on a buzzer beater, but I think that they just lost again recently. I don't know, man. Michigan State's been dropping. Tom Izzo is a great coach, though. I'm gonna pick Sparty to win round 1. But I'm not too high on Sparty this year. Not too high on them. And then Kentucky versus Longwood. Give me Kentucky. All right. Now, Auburn and Wake Forest. Now, this could be a sleeper pick. Like, I don't think no one would be expecting Wake Forest to win this game, but they definitely could, especially the way Auburn's been playing recently. Auburn's going to have to show me something. They're going to have to get back to that team. Like, sometimes I question myself, like, did Auburn peak too early? And they might have. Auburn might have peaked too early. They're going to have to get back to that peak. If they can get back to that peak where they were the number 1 team in the country, like before they lost to Arkansas, like that Auburn team, I know Jabari Smith has still been playing very, very well. But they have to get back to that if I'm going to pick them to go deep in this tournament. Right now, I'm picking Auburn still over Wake Forest, purely because Jabari Smith has still been balling. But I'm not sure how far I'm going to have them go. Arkansas versus Vermont. Tough matchup for Vermont. They just beat Illinois, but they're not going to go past that. Arkansas is too good, man. Too good, too hot right now. Iowa versus Villanova. Ooh, I'm picking Iowa. I had Villanova, I think, go to the championship game in my last bracket because they are that good with Colin Gillespie, but Keegan Murray, you know, he might be able to take over games maybe even more than Colin Gillespie, but Colin Gillespie is more experienced. So does that play a factor? We'll see, man. We will see. Michigan State versus Kentucky. Like I said, man, not too high on Michigan State. I think Kentucky has a pretty easy path to the Sweet 16 in my opinion. Auburn versus Arkansas. SEC bout, man. I'm picking Arkansas. And like I said, we're going to have to see what Arkansas is like on a neutral site court because a lot of their big wins have come in Fayetteville, and I'm not knocking them for that. Still solid wins, still one of the hottest teams in the nation. But I think they have really good leadership under Eric Musselman. I think that they have star players like J.D. Node is an absolute beast. They have other players that are stepping up as well. And I think that they have enough to get done to beat Auburn here. We've seen them beat them once, and I think Arkansas is going to move on again. Next up, we got Iowa versus Kentucky. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I really like this Kentucky team, but I think that they are beatable come tournament. I think if they can get fully healthy, they are maybe one of, if not the best team in college basketball, if healthy. But give me Iowa to move on to the Elite Eight. Yes, sir. I think that they have enough to get it done. I think they get out and run, and Kentucky can get out and run too. It's going to be a high-scoring game, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. But give me the Hawkeyes to pull it out in an upset 6-2. So now we got our 5 and our 6 seed in the Elite Eight. And you love to see it, man. Who is going to move on to the Final Four? I got to go with Arkansas. They're just really hot right now. And I know Iowa is getting hot too, which is why I have them going to the Elite Eight. But I think if Arkansas can get this matchup in the Elite Eight, I think that they're going to win. I think that they can beat Iowa, and Keegan Murray's run, kind of Cinderella. 6 seed, not really Cinderella run, but pretty high seed to get to the Elite Eight there. Ends there in the Elite Eight, like I said. So move on to our last region. We got Baylor versus Norfolk State, and I'm going to pick Baylor. Marquette versus Miami. And, Shaka Smart, he's a great coach. I like what he's doing there at Marquette here in his first year. I'm not sure if they get a tournament win here, though. I think Miami might have this one. I think Miami might be able to snag this one. UConn versus either Rutgers or Loyola Chicago. Now, who is going to win between Rutgers and Loyola? Because those are two very popular picks to make a run in March. And if they have to play each other in the play-in game, who is going to win? And I love Loyola Chicago, man, but not the same coach as when they made those runs. I'm going to pick Rutgers to win that game, and I'm going to pick Rutgers to beat UConn in round 1. I really, really like Geo Baker, Ron Harper Jr. They have a squad, man. They have a squad. So give me the Scarlet Knights to move on. Houston versus Toledo. And, I'm not too high on Houston this year. I think they're going to have enough defense, though, to get past Toledo there. They have good coaching. So give me Houston to move on there. Ohio State versus Davidson. You guys know I'm not high on Ohio State this year. And last bracket, I said, they lost to Maryland. They're not looking too good. Since then, they lost to Nebraska, which is like the worst team in the Big Ten. Give me Davidson to move on 100%. That is a easy 11/6 pick for me. Very easy. Tennessee versus Texas State. I love this Texas State team. Like, I watched them play, I think last week, and Texas State, I was like, this is a solid, well-rounded team. They have amazing ball movement, and they have a great point guard who I think is like 5'8", 5'9", and those guys come to play with a huge heart, and they play with a lot of heart. And I said to myself, I was like, Texas State looks like a team that would upset somebody in March. And I think that Texas State will win the Sun Belt Conference tournament there. And they will be in the tournament. But I do not like the matchup they are given, because I like this Vols team. And I have to go with Tennessee, man. I have to pick them. I have to pick Tennessee here. Even though I love this Texas State team. Not a good matchup. If they were going up against maybe a 4 seed somewhere, I would definitely pick Texas State to win 1, maybe even 2 games in this bracket. But hey, when the actual brackets come out, we'll see the matchup they are given. Look out for Texas State as a sleeper, man. They are a very good team. And even though I'm not picking them, I wanted to give them some praise because they are a great team. Boise versus San Fran. Y'all know I like this Boise team this year, and I want to pick them because it would be their first win, or their first NCAA tournament win in school history, and I think they deserve it because they already won the Mountain West regular season title this year. So they already won their league, and they're a great team, man. They are a great team, and I would love, love, love to see them get their first NCAA tournament win in history. Duke versus Colgate. I think Duke is going to destroy the toothpaste and get past them there. Baylor versus Miami. I'm not too high on Miami or Marquette, really. So I think out of the 8-9, Baylor might have the best draw to make it have an easiest path to the Sweet 16 as a one. Rutgers versus Houston. I'm going with Rutgers, man. Give me the Scarlet Knights to move on past Houston. I'm not too high on Houston, so give me them to go to the Sweet 16. Like I said, Geo Baker. Ron Harper Jr., of course, he's been clutch. And, they could be a team that could get a buzzer beater this March Madness. And they also have a center, or it might be a power forward. Not sure what. I think they switch him around. If they go small, he plays center. But Amari, I think is his last name, he has been stepping up. Like, I've been watching some Rutgers games, and he has been stepping up, man. And I think if he can step up come March, the Scarlet Knights are going to be dangerous. So give me them to move on past Houston. Davidson versus Tennessee. And I like this Davidson team, man. But like I said, I like Tennessee. I like Tennessee to move on here. Boise State versus Duke. And, man, I think Boise State could potentially win this game. Coach K's final season, I'd love to see him make a run, even though, I don't want to see Duke win the championship or anything. But it would be cool to see, even if Duke won the championship, it would be cool to see in Coach K's last season. But I'm just not too high on Duke, man. And I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on this. But I kind of like Boise State. 7-2 upset. Are we feeling it? Shall we pull the trigger on this? Give me the Broncos. Give me the Broncos to upset Duke in March and get their second ever NCAA tournament win against Duke in Coach K's final game. That would be a crazy win for their program. And I think it's realistic. I think Duke is an excellent team, and they probably would win that matchup. But, give me Boise State, man. Why not? Why not? Give me Boise State. Next up, Tennessee versus Boise State. Now, how far does Boise State make it? I am going to pick Tennessee. I think the Vols have been a very well-coached, well-rounded team offensively and defensively. They spread the ball around, which is why I have them going deep here. And, luckily for them, it looks like an easy run because they're facing, a 14, 11, and then a 7 seed to get to the Elite Eight. But that is not an easy path. Texas State, probably the best 14 seed right now. Yeah, I would definitely say so. I just looked at all the rest of the 14 seeds. Texas State is the hardest 14 seed by far. Davidson is a tough out. They've been getting hot. And Boise State, coming off of a win against Duke, that would be a hard game. So give me Tennessee to move on. Baylor versus Rutgers. And you know where I'm going with this, guys. You know where I'm going with this. They're making a run. They're making a run. If they can get into this tournament, they are making a run. They have a solid team, man. I really like this Scarlet Knights team, and I have them beating Baylor. I think they could make it happen. Baylor is a lot like Kentucky. They've had some injury problems this year, but if they can get fully healthy, just like Kentucky, they have potential to be the best team maybe in this entire tournament, and they're well coached. They have great defense. But I think off a miraculous play at the end of the game, maybe a buzzer beater, Rutgers makes the Elite Eight and defeats the Baylor Bears. Scarlet Knights to the Elite Eight. Make it happen. Let's go. So now we got Rutgers versus Tennessee here in the Elite Eight. And Tennessee had a really good run, but I got to go with Rutgers to go to the Final Four, man. From first four to Final Four, you already know. Second year in a row that's happened. Last year UCLA did it. This year I'm having Rutgers do it, and I think they could. I think that they have the players. I think that they can. I like this team, man. I think that they can do it. So give me Rutgers to go to the Final Four. So here is our Final Four. We got the 2-1 seeds from the top regions, Gonzaga and Arizona. Then we got a 5 seed from this region in Arkansas. And we have our 12 seed that actually had to play in the play-in game against Loyola Chicago, which would probably be a close game. And they made it all the way to the Final Four as a 12 seed. So that is where we are at right now. Let's go ahead and pick Gonzaga versus Arkansas. And it would be a fun game, but does Arkansas have the size to compete with Gonzaga? Like, I would want Arkansas to win this game if I was watching it. Do they have the size to defend Chet Holmgren and also Drew Timme? Here's what I'm thinking, man. Last year, UCLA in the Final Four, when they went up against Gonzaga, they didn't necessarily have the size to defend Drew Timme. Who made the play there at the end of the game? Jalen Suggs got them to the championship game. He's not there anymore. I don't know if Gonzaga has a guard that can make a play. Like I said, I don't think Arkansas has the bigs that can, really defend all that well against Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren. But if they can disturb them enough, and you know who does have a guard who could take over a game? It's not Jalen Suggs. He's in the NBA. It's J.D. Neuter. Give me the Razorbacks to move on to the championship game. Just thinking about that just now, that matchup, I think it could happen. So now we got Arizona versus Rutgers to move on to the championship game to face the Razorbacks. Who are we going to go with, man? Who are we going to go with? Give me Arizona. I think Rutgers' run ends there. I mean, it would be crazy to see a 12 seed go to the championship game. I mean, it's already crazy to see them go to the Final Four. Hell of a run. But I think Arizona, too much for him. Too much for him in that one. So now we got Arkansas versus Arizona in the national championship game. And Arkansas has Arizona has a lot of depth, man. And this is going to make J.D. Neuter is already a star, but on a national stage, everyone's going to be watching the Final Four and stuff. Everyone's going to realize this guy is the real deal. It's probably going to raise his draft stock a ton. But I think I got to give this one to Arizona. I think that they have the depth. I think they have more depth on their team. And both these teams are going to play so hard, man. It's going to be tough. I think Arkansas is going to, if they get to the championship game, they're going to be playing so hard. This is a very tough pick, man. I have not finalized this. See how that box is still white? I might switch it. You know what? I think Arkansas is just going to play harder. I just get that vibe. Arkansas would play harder in this game. They would want it more. They would play hard defense. And 5 seed wins the championship. Let's do it, man. For this bracket. But if they go on a run in the SEC tournament, they could definitely jump up to a 4 or a 3 seed. Give me the Razorbacks to win the national championship over Arizona. Let's make it happen. I'm kind of feeling them right now. And I like Arizona a lot. I think they could win this game. But they're going to have to show me something first. And I just get that vibe, that feeling that Arkansas would want this game more, and they would play just like top-notch defense, man, and get this win. So give me Arkansas to win the national championship. Let's make it official. There we go. It's not white anymore. It is yellow, marked in stone. Arkansas is your 2022 NCAA tournament champions for this bracket. They've been super hot, man. Watching them against LSU, I mean, that environment is crazy. We'll see how they do against the neutral games in the SEC tournament. And who knows? In my official bracket, I may have Arkansas win it all. We'll see how not just Arkansas, but everyone performs in these conference tournaments. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe if you guys aren't new. We'll have more brackets like this. Of course, we're going to have our official bracket once the seeds come out on Selection Sunday. And also next week, we are going to have our conference tournament predictions for the major 6 conferences, which are, of course, the Power 5, along with the Big East Conference. We're going to have predictions for every conference tournament. So make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are new. Drop me a like if you guys want to see more brackets. And make sure you guys comment down below because I love reading your comments and also responding to your guys' comments. Let me know what you guys think about my bracket. And yeah, we're building an awesome community. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support on these bracket videos. So yeah, thank you guys a bunch. And I'm out.